But wait, what if all of this is just exaggeration? Could the third track simply be nothing more than engineering design? Or maybe we're just letting our imagination run wild. I'm Kim, and this is Hung Channel.
Do you know why so many people still feel uneasy when the train approaches Choi Hung Station? Why commuters instinctively glance toward the middle track, even though it's almost always empty? Tonight, we're diving into one of Hong Kong's most unsettling MTR legends, the story of the third track at Choi Hung Station, a track that officially leads to Kowloon Bay Depot, a track that rarely sees passenger trains, and yet a track surrounded by decades of whispers of ghost trains, vanished engineers, and signals that went silent in the dark. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why logic never quite erased the fear, and why the next time you hear next station, Choi Hung, you might look twice into the darkness between the platforms. Chapter 1. The third track of Choi Hung Station. Hong Kong's urban legends have always been one of the most enduring and widely spread parts of city culture. Some say the reason urban legends survive is not because of their truth, but because the gap between facts and rumors is always waiting to be filled. And when it comes to Hong Kong's MTR, especially Choi Hung Station on the Kwun Tong line, almost every local has heard the terrifying story of the third track. Besides Choi Hung Station's third track, there are plenty of other MTR legends. Some say voices of a woman in white can be heard whispering at Yau Ma Tei Station. At Prince Edward, there are tales of entering another dimension. At Mei Fu, people claim to see headless figures late at night. On the Tong Chong line, trains entering tunnels supposedly gain an extra stranger. And at Mong Kok East, rumors tell of a child in red suddenly appearing on the platform. These stories have been passed down for decades. Although never confirmed by officials, they have become some of the most mysterious urban legends of Hong Kong's MTR. Chapter 2. The engineering purpose of the empty track. Alright, back to the main story. Choi Hung Station opened in 1979. Its structure is different from most MTR stations. It has 3 tracks and 2 island platforms. In other words, passengers usually see trains stopping on the outer platforms, but the middle track is almost always empty. For daily commuters, that middle track sits in darkness, with signal lights flickering red and green, yet no train ever seems to stop there. Because of this, it gradually became one of Hong Kong's enduring mysteries, an ideal breeding ground for urban legends. The official explanation has always been that the middle track connects to Kowloon Bay Depot. It is not used for passenger services during the day. Instead, it is mainly for late night or early morning train movements, depot entry and exit, or for trains turning back during incidents. This engineering purpose makes sense to railway staff and enthusiasts. But for the general public, especially those who have never actually seen a train use it, this empty track became a black hole that no one could explain. Chapter 3. The Rumor. Hong Kongers love ghost stories. Whenever reality and everyday life don't line up, ghost stories fill the gap. And so, the story of Choi Hung Station's third track began spreading in the 1980s. The more it was told, the scarier it became. Some say The track leads straight to the underworld. Some say that late at night, a ghost train quietly passes through, filled with expressionless passengers. Others claim an engineering train once entered the tunnel but never returned. To understand why these tales took hold, one must look at newspaper records. For decades, Hong Kong newspapers have used almost identical wording when reporting railway deaths. On a certain date, in the early hours, a man or woman fell onto the tracks at Choi Hung Station, was struck by a train, sent to hospital but pronounced dead. Police said there were no suspicious circumstances. Just a few short lines compressed an entire life into cold, standard text. And it was precisely this emptiness that gave rumors room to grow. In the 1980s, newspapers like Wak Kyu Yat Po and Sing Tao Daily carried such brief reports, saying people had died after falling at Choi Hung Station. The official explanation was suicide, but the rumor added more detail. Witnesses claimed the victims were not jumping, but pulled down. Others whispered that CCTV footage showed a dark shadow passing behind the person just before the recording cut out. Naturally, such details never made it into print, but among locals, they spread rapidly by word of mouth. Chapter 4: Signals. In the 1990s, more isolated accidents occurred. Again, headlines read, "Man falls onto tracks, dies," or "no suspicious circumstances." But in the public mind, Choi Hung Station was becoming linked with death. Some began to believe the station itself was unclean, and the middle track, never used, became the focal point of all strange happenings. One classic version of the legend describes a night shift security guard on patrol at 3 a.m. He swore he saw a train slowly rolling along the middle track. Its speed was crawling, its lights dim. The train paused for a moment, then continued. When he peered into the carriage windows, he saw rows of passengers seated. But every face was pale, every eye vacant, and the entire car was eerily silent. After that night, he quit his job out of fear. The story was later adapted into articles, radio ghost programs, and online forums as a true horror account. Another rumor tells of engineers entering the middle tunnel at night for inspection, never to return. No official record exists. But in the folklore, those workers were said to have entered another dimension and never made it back. A darker variation claims the control center once lost all contact with a train entering the middle track. Signals vanished for several minutes. When communication was restored, the train emerged, but every soul inside had disappeared. Some residents nearby added their own accounts. They said that passing the exits of the Choi Hung Station late at night, they would hear strange, rhythmic, metallic clangs from deep underground, like someone hammering iron bars. Whenever the sound rang out, the air above felt chillingly cold. Even though Choi Hung Station is fully enclosed, these noises were said to echo out from the entrances. All such ghostly signs were naturally tied back to the third track. Chapter 5: Missing Persons of Choi Hung Station. Beyond death and disappearance, the legend also became tied to missing persons. In the 1990s and 2000s, Hong Kong newspapers often carried missing person notices. In some, the last seen location was listed as Choi Hung Station. Although missing persons can vanish for countless reasons, urban legends automatically glued the two together. Thus, missing people and the third track merged, birthing another version. Falling into the middle track didn't mean death. It meant vanishing, as if into another world. a gateway to an alternate space. After the year 2000, Hong Kong's urban legends shifted from word of mouth to the internet. The story of Choi Hung Station's third track was repeatedly revived on forums, social media, and ghost story websites. Each version had slight differences, but the core elements never changed. One online account claimed that during the last train of the night, a passenger looked out through the glass and saw flickering lights on the middle track. It looked as if another train was silently sliding past. Chapter 6. Next Station, Choi Hung. Another story told of a young man returning home late who saw an unlit train on the middle track, its doors slightly open. Inside was nothing but pitch darkness. The doors slammed shut and the train rolled backward into the tunnel, never to return. There were even claims of CCTV footage cutting out during such incidents. Of course, no proof exists, but this lack of proof makes the tales even stronger. In recent years, newspapers and English-language media have written features titled Hong Kong's Creepiest MTR Legend. MTR engineers explained that the track leads only to Kowloon Bay Depot. But the more clarifications are made, the more firmly the legends take root, because logic does not erase fear, especially when one stands alone at night on a silent platform. The voices fade, only the wind remains, and the empty track in the middle. So whenever the train broadcast announces, "Next station Choi Hung," many commuters still glance instinctively toward the middle track. Maybe there is nothing. Maybe only the signal light flickers. But perhaps, just perhaps, behind the glass reflection, another pair of eyes is already watching.
I'm Kim. Please subscribe, like, and share. And stay with me. You'll never face the dark unknown.